Your problems are conducted in radiated emissions, so you know you need to test 2 different power supply boards combined with 2 different main boards and 2 different communication boards for a new revolutionary product. And that's no easy task. To solve your emission problems, the main and communication boards feature different capacitors and microstrip lines, as well as 2 different LC filters on the LAN used to control the cards. The power supplies also have different filters, one that unquestionably works but is very expensive, and one that has a new circuit that, if it works, can save your company a great deal of money. As usual, you only have a few days until your deadline, and you need to find a solution that delivers accurate results swiftly. But it's not just that. You also have to test all the different combinations and maybe even make some circuit modifications directly on the testing bench to make sure you're on the right track from the start. You don't have days and days to spare only to get unreliable results. And you can't use general purpose equipment either, which everyone has, because as you know, it's largely inaccurate. So now what? Are you on the road to nowhere? Of course not! First of all, what you need is a real EMC receiver. Only an EMC receiver can give you accurate results. It's undeniable that certain setups and environments can lead to imprecision. After all, you're not in a lab, and the EUT is partially disassembled, but the receiver responds accurately, fully in line with the standards. A general-purpose tool, like an oscilloscope or an entry-level spectrum analyzer, is highly compromised by the type of signal applied. Without a premium preselector, which is very expensive, EMC receivers cannot operate correctly when working over a band that's too wide. This is due to the potential overload of either the front-end mixer or the ADC, whichever saturates first. When the signal has high energy levels combined with very wide spectral distribution, as is the case with a pulse for example, you are guaranteed totally inaccurate readings if you use non-compliant equipment or intermodulation products. Of course, you could set a margin, but to be fully prepared in unpredictable situations, the margin would need to be so wide that the numbers would be questionable. As a result, any testing would be useless. That you only need to compare readings is a myth. Nonlinearity is around the corner, and 1 or 2 dB differences in a signal can wreak havoc on the display of general-purpose measuring equipment. Secondly, you need a fast receiver. When you're under pressure and you need fast results and you have many combinations to test, the best technical and financial solution is a digital receiver with parallel processing. You need a receiver with an FFT that works over the widest possible processing band, guaranteeing CISPR 16-1-1 standards. In other words, the fastest possible receiver that meets all standard specifications. Lastly, you don't have enough time to study the user manual, so the receiver needs to be extremely user-friendly. You've got to be able to switch it on and start measuring. Narda's new family of EMC receivers can provide you with conducted emission measurements in just a couple of seconds and radiated emission results in less than a minute. They're fully compliant and are the fastest on the market today. With the PMM ER8000, research and development engineers can test everything they have in development and create all possible combinations, collecting more data than ever imagined before. Its speed and ease of use are truly astonishing, and it even has its own software. Thanks to the outstanding performance of the ER8000, engineers can assess conducted and radiated emissions of all the cards while meeting their deadlines and gaining the opportunity to investigate new circuit improvements. PMM ER8000 is the way to go. You've just gotten the first lot of a new product from the production floor, and you need to get the official certification from an accredited lab. But it can't fail a single test. So you need to first perform your own pre-certification tests on every single function, making sure levels are well below the limits and that everything goes smoothly. The product design is sturdy, the software and firmware work well, but you want fast and accurate results, so you need the same receiver you'd find in an accredited lab. It needs to be flexible and include all the accessories as well as a lease-in, test programs, and anything else you would find in a certification center. You also don't want to sacrifice speed for inaccuracy, or even worse, compromise on performance. What you need is the PMM ER9000 or the PMM 8000, which are both totally risk-free. In no time at all, you'll be able to complete all the tests you need by mirroring the exact same layouts and configurations of an accredited lab, and you'll have confidence in the results. And don't forget that the PMM receivers feature built-in measuring software designed to manage all the characteristics of the receivers. The PMM ER9000 is the right choice. Pull up a chair and see how easy it is to test with the ER9000. And if you have two samples of your product to test, you could also do some parallel testing with the ER8000. Both are fully compliant receivers providing the fastest possible solutions, and they are extremely reliable and flexible, and the accessories are outstanding. This is the right choice for an accredited lab. You'll also see how close the pre-certification results will be to the accredited lab results. With the latest PMM receivers, the final certification is just a formality, because you can be confident in the results you achieve in your pre-certification lab. Now you know you can make all the modifications and design changes you need, and test them directly at the R&D bench before even going to your internal lab to test production samples. As you are using premium receivers, you can be confident in the results. To be sure of the measurements in every phase of product development, you need a compliant receiver. Using alternative tools can lead to errors that would only be discovered in an accredited lab. To give you an example, suppose you have to weigh a pack, which you expect will weigh around 1 kilogram. You assume a scale that weighs up to 2 kilograms, so twice the load, will be enough. But what if the pack is surrounded by hidden 100 kilogram carrying poles? The reading would be just over 2 kilograms, which means the measurements would be totally incorrect. Even worse, you might not even notice. Needless to say, a range 100 times larger is needed, but a full range that's 100 times larger means that the minimum weight and resolution are 100 times worse. If the scale is capable of removing the carrying poles, which in a receiver is the pre-selector, the weight of 1 kilogram is measured with the same accuracy it would if the pack was bare. The PMM ER8000 and the PMM ER9000 models are premium performance receivers that don't compromise on features, quality, or speed and provide maximum flexibility for all possible applications. And they're offered at a reasonable price. Furthermore, they have a large portfolio of accessories at the ready. Likewise, the embedded software can control the turntable and antenna mast, and the receiver operates with a built-in operating system. Thus, it works independently from any external systems and/or PCs or tablets. And remember, the PMM ER8000 and the PMM ER9000 models are 100% compliant. You can rest assured there's a new wave at Narda, and the choice is simple: full transparency and no compromises on quality or performance. Now you can take your product, which you have quickly and successfully tested with PMM receivers, and go win over the international markets. You deserve success after all your hard work. Made by PMM and L3 Harris Company. Made in Italy.